Okay, let's do our third soundbite on some content, get you ready for round one, and what you got to do for round one. Your social venture ideas are already kind of, I think, implanted in your minds, which is awesome. Hopefully tonight maybe even give you some other thoughts about those things. Perhaps God's kind of been speaking to you for a while about a passion that you have, and I'm hoping this can be a forum to kind of experiment with that. But I think one thing we all have to be careful about is that great social innovators are great listeners. Our early intuitions about how we can help and engage with the communities that we're interested in helping are often not very valid and accurate. So you immediately have to start thinking about, how am I going to get more informed about the social impact I want to have, right? And that's something that you can begin to start thinking about, and we'll kind of talk about as we go. Where do these ideas come from? They really come from the intersection of your social passions and your business ideas. And some of you I know already kind of have those thoughts in your mind, which is great. I also, just as a teaser, have 9 different places on the web where social causes are talked about. New projects are being launched. So if you're kind of wondering, how am I going to get more informed about some of these ideas, then you're immediately going to just sort of go and just explore any of these web portals. So just to give you one, there's this platform, Possible, which does all sorts of interesting funding for interesting things. Their Sustainable Cycles project was something that kind of caught my attention. Now, some of you might even think about using some of these crowdsourcing platforms as a way to raise money, as part of how, when you talk about the capital, your sources of capital in your plan, I believe some of these platforms are going to be relevant to you, and you'll learn more about them in round 2, okay? But I just want to kind of at least call them to your attention. Okay, so, so discovery is going to happen in a lot of different ways as you kind of embark on your idea, and then you're going to have to engage in the marketplace. We really want ideas that aren't just concept, but you explore the application of the idea a little bit. If you've got a tech idea, could you build a prototype of that mobile app or the website? If you've got a product idea, could we explore the use of the 3D printers here in Fry Hall to help you experiment with that? If you've got an idea for a restaurant or some other service, could you actually prototype that restaurant, rent a fire hall one night, and host a dinner, just to demonstrate that you could pull it off and you could generate a crowd to come to that dinner? So again, be innovative, be creative, but the more you can demonstrate the viability of your idea by contact with the marketplace, the more credible your submission is going to be. Okay, so you'll learn more about that again as we talk about round 2 and beyond. And eventually you're going to need to think about scaling your enterprise, and we'll spend more time as the competition unfolds there. All right, about round 1. You know it's due midnight, Feb 26. There's a 3-page template online right now that outlines all you need to know. What I want to do in the next few minutes is walk you through the content of that 3-pager, so you kind of know what we're expecting. The first round, the organizing committee, the students represented here, myself and Peter Greer from Hope will be the evaluators of those first 2 rounds of plans. The judges will be the final evaluators of round 3 submissions. Okay, so that's sort of how the judging will unfold. You have no more than 3 pages to tell your story, plus a cover page. So here are your content areas. First thing you're going to do is write a brief summary of what your idea is. A brief narrative of your core idea, and then to answer 2 questions. Does the entity already exist or not, just so we know, and make sure that you're under the eligibility requirements about how much revenue you have. I don't imagine many of you have revenues in excess of $100,000, so I don't think you necessarily would be here if that were the case, but we just want to be fair to everybody and making sure we're honoring those parameters. And then, do you envision your entity being a for-profit or a nonprofit entity? I'll talk more about that in a minute. And then briefly tell us about your team. Where did this idea come from, and how committed are you to this idea? And how do we understand your commitment to this idea? That's the summary. Garth.
Will this information be online?
It's all online. Yeah, the template's all up there. I just tonight wanted to briefly go over so you kind of knew what we were expecting, okay? Second thing you're going to tell us is a high-level description. What is your product or service idea? We're not looking for a fully fleshed out idea right now. We just want a brief description and tell us what stage is it at. Is it just in your head, conceptual? Have you done some design work? Have you experimented a little bit more with it? We've done this once or twice. Where are you in its development? And it's okay if you're just a concept stage. That's fine, at least for round one. We're going to want to try to provoke you to get mature with that idea as time goes on. Are you going to need to partner with anybody to pull it off? Okay? Are you going to need to partner with some organization to help you achieve your end? And then at some point, we really want you to think about, how can I advance and validate my idea? All right, we'll come back to that again. So second thing is brief product overview, and what is the value prop? Why are people going to buy it? Now, the one thing that I want to be clear about in this is this next topic of two different markets you're addressing. There's the business market, which is who you're selling your product or service to. And then there's the impact market. That is the community you hope to impact through your efforts. Everybody with me? There are two different markets, okay? Now, sometimes you're serving both of those markets in the context of the same business, but sometimes not. Let me give you an example. I'm of Syrian descent. Both my mom and dad are Syrian, love Middle Eastern food, live in Lancaster, have this idea for an Arabic restaurant in central Pennsylvania. Wouldn't it be cool?
Yeah.
All right, awesome, right? There's some of my favorite foods as a kid. All right, well, the business market for that Middle Eastern restaurant would be, I conjure, middle-income adults in central Pennsylvania that like Middle Eastern food. That's my business market. Now, let me tell you something else I've explored. There are a lot of refugees from the Middle East, believe it or not, living in Lancaster. How they got there, why I got there, I don't really know. I've had the occasion to meet a number of them. They're very good cooks. So, how about the idea that we actually employ these refugees in the restaurant, teaching them the business skills they need, us learning their culture and appreciating their culture, and kind of having an impact in that community. And doing so in a way that honors the Lord and trusting what God might do in and through that venture. One business where the business market and the impact market are coalescing into one business. Okay? Example one. Example two. One of our alums, Jason Webb, a soccer player. Many of you might know of Soccer Shots. Soccer Shots is a franchise model. Actually, if you go to Franchise Magazine, you'll see it's one of the top franchise opportunities in the country. And what they do is they offer a after-school program and even in a daycare program, youth soccer development, and there's a moral lesson as part of that time that the adults meet with the children. So, the business market in that context are stateside parents and children who are interested in exercise and well-being, interested in soccer and moral teaching. It so happens that that's actually their impact as well, right? They're hoping to disciple these kids and through the moral teaching kind of have that aspect of impact. But they've taken it a step further. they actually fund a group called Global Goals that they created with some of their profits from soccer shots. In turn, they partner with the U.S. Soccer Foundation. And together, they focus on an impact where they're bringing soccer to economically disadvantaged communities. So can't you see that they're having an impact both in their core business and then in this other venture that they've launched off and funded with some of their profits? So you see this emergence of a business market and an impact market. Now, for some of you, I just want to take you through one other idea. Because I'm sure some of you are sitting there thinking, well, I'm going to start this 100% donor-funded nonprofit as my social venture. And what we're trying to do is say, be cautious about that. We want you to think about profit-making ventures that through those profits you can also have your impact. Okay? So example A, a commercial business. Its core is profit generation, right? And maybe peripherally it will have some social impact. That's not really what we're after. Okay? Example 2, an impact business of the sort you're hearing about where the core is about social impact, what they're trying to achieve. And they have to be profitable because without profit, you're not sustainable. That's the model we're after. The third model, just to put it out there, is one that has purely social impact, and that's what charities and 501c3s are for. And we're not saying that they don't have their place. They certainly do have their place. In this context, we're much more oriented towards the second kind of company I talked about. Okay, and that's kind of what we're trying to promote and encourage in the context of this, this example. So I'm a little worried about time, so we're going to keep going, okay? So what you're going to do is, in your business market hypothesis, you're going to tell us what market are you going to offer your product or service through, and you're briefly going to describe it, either through demographics like age, gender, income level, educational level, or sociographic, the family, the stage of life, or values. You think of that moral soccer shots is built on a psychographic of families interested in moral teaching, right? That's an example, okay? Or geographic, take my central Pennsylvania Middle Eastern restaurant. So I'm just giving you a framework for how you're going to describe your target market. And then what I want you to do, what we want you to do, is simply spell out what is your target market hypothesis. And here's the little template we want you to do. We believe this target market will respond in some way because of this reason. So we've kind of given you a template so that you can just think about how do we want to frame it. So for example, for a business I've been spending some time with and helping, they have an aeroponics growing system. They grow things vertically in columns within a greenhouse. Really kind of exciting. So for them, their target market hypothesis might be something like this. We believe the owners of greenhouses in the Northeast and Midwestern United States and Canada will invest in this aeroponics growing system. Why? Because the systems will dramatically improve crop yield, quality, and profitability. Okay? That's all we're looking you to do, is to frame your business market statement hypothesis. You're now in rounds 2 and 3 going to prove out the validity of that hypothesis through data you gather, through your field experience and interacting with the market. Okay? So you're going to frame that out and then give us a little bit of evidence of why do you think that's a real market opportunity, and then how big is that market? How many people might engage with you in that business, and do you have any competition that you know of we should be aware of? Now, we're not looking for long research statements. This is all being done in the context of a 3-pager. In the impact market, same thing. We're going to just have you frame your impact market in terms of what outcomes do you hope to achieve, right? Not outputs, not how many people came to the Soccer Shots clinic. Outcomes. How has moral behavior of those kids changed? Okay, so that's kind of what we're after. And so for your impact market hypothesis, we simply want you to say, for what your target market is, what outcome do you hope they will experience and why. So for example, suppose we were running an at-risk program for kids in inner city Harrisburg. We might say our target market is, we believe the at-risk youth in Harrisburg will experience greater levels of high school graduation and employment above the minimum wage when they graduate from our program because they'll have increased responsibility, relationships, and skills. Okay? So I'm just looking for you to frame the impact market as well. Right? That's how these two things come together, and then tell us a little bit more about what proof do you have that there's an impact market potential, how big might that impact market have, and then for some of you, who are you going to work with in the impact arena? You might have a nonprofit that you know you're going to kind of work with, okay? And then just tell us a little bit about how might, if you were to advance to rounds 2 and 3, how might you validate these ideas? How might you experiment to say there is a real business market and we really think we can have this impact? Right? Just tell us what your preliminary ideas will be. We're going to help you in round 2 develop those. We just want to get a sense for what your ideas are. Then you're going to tell us how we're going to market, how might we be profitable, and how are we going to make money to sustain our impact. Okay? That's kind of our intent for the submission for round 1. And it should be done in about, like I said, no more than 3 pages. The template spells us all out. You can download the Word doc and kind of pretty much start populating it as you see fit. We're judging the plans on principally 3 ideas. Is there a reasonable belief that this business model is sound and likely to be impactful? Number 2, what evidence do we believe exists in the plan and believe you're going to be sustainable in terms of the business drivers and the outcomes that you're going to achieve? And do we think this is a viable idea? Okay? And so for rounds 1 and 2, that'll be the criteria. In round 3, you're going to have a live pitch, your presentation, your 6 minutes, and that'll count for 20% if and when you make it to round 3. And all this is up on the web in some great detail. I'm going to have Dylan come on up with Curtis, and they're going to tell you more about how to submit at Impact Venture Challenge 2015, and then we'll just leave it open for questions. Okay?
All right. So yeah, like drinking from a fire hose, right? But that's all going to be online. And if you guys have any questions, we're going to be around. You know Evie, you know the organizing committee, you know me. You can catch us at any point, anytime. You can email us and you can send questions our way. We'll help you out, no problem. But so you're going to go to impactventurechallenge.com. That's where you're going to go. You're going to go to eligibility and registration, all right? So this is where, we need you to sign up. We need you to be a part of this. We're excited. You're going to go to click here, and this is going to take you to iStart. This is where the registration menu is and all that. And you're going to go into login/register, right? And we need you to create a user account for iStart. So you need to register to iStart, and then we need you to register for the challenge itself. So it's 2 registrations. So you go through, you put all your stuff in. Do you need to do that? I don't know if you need to do that or not. You might need to. Yeah, they might make you if you want. So that's going to be kind of laborious. But you go through this, and you'll go through this. You'll have your iStart account. And once you have your iStart account, you'll be able to sign up for the Impact Venture Challenge itself. So here, Curtis, while you're going through this, let's start. We're going to start fielding some Q&A, just to kind of keep things rolling.
Yeah. Let's do that. First question I have for you guys. How many of you think you're likely to submit to round 1? Not put one hand up for a team. So if you're here with 3 people and you're teaming on one team, just make sure only one of you guys puts a hand up, okay? I'm not going to hold anybody anything. We're just trying to get a sense. And I know there's about 10 or 12 people not here that are planning to do it. Okay. Up high. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23. Okay. That's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, the more the merrier. The more competitive, right?
That's awesome. Okay, questions for us? We've thrown a lot at you, not hoping to do that, but we want to get this thing started, and we just felt like the best thing to do was sort of outline everything for you and then field some questions. Feel like you know what's expected of you, kind of?
Yeah. No questions? You guys are just ready to go write your concepts? Yeah.
Celsi, come on, you got one. I know you got a question for me.
We got a real question right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
How many teams are going to go to round 3? Do you know that?
I beg your pardon?
How many teams are going to go to round 3?
We're believing that there will be 5 to 7 teams to round 3. Yeah, that's kind of our hope. Yes?
I have a question with the mentors. How do you pick who gets mentors specific to what your organization or your is, or is it just kind of
Yeah, okay, 2 ideas here. If you're partnering, say, with a nonprofit, and they might actually offer you somebody who would be a mentor for you, you can say, we've already got a mentor and don't necessarily want one. That's one option. Secondly, we know a fair amount about the backgrounds of the mentors and the ideas. Once we read your 3-pagers, we're going to try to do our level best to pair you up with an appropriate mentor based on your market, your impact, and that kind of thing. We're working on mentors all across the impact space. So, does that help? Yeah, either way. But if some of you, I guess maybe one thing, if you know that you have a mentor you already want to work with, maybe just tell us that in the plan so we kind of know that, okay? That's fine.
And just to add on to that, even in terms of teams, like let's say you have this great team, but you don't have somebody for marketing or you don't have somebody for accounting. Send us an email and we'll be on the lookout to get you grouped up with somebody to fulfill your team.
If you want that kind of help, yeah.
Yeah.
We want to connect you. Go ahead.
Group sizes? What are the group sizes?
2 to 6. It's going to be teams of 2 to 6. Yeah.
Yeah, the eligibility sort of lays that out. So, Matt.
Does each team ever fill us out? Where's one?
So each team, everybody who's going to sign up and be a part of this, even members of teams, are going to have to sign up for iStart. And then you'll have whoever submits your concept. So let's say your team lead is going to submit the concept definition, but they're also going to send an invite to whoever else is on their team via an email. And it's all on here. We'll show you how to do it in a minute. You ready?
Yeah, there's 2 privacy policies you have to fill out. This is just iStart's one that you just agreed to, and then there's one on the next fill out for.
Down here, then make sure you're not a computer. Make sure you're a human being. And after that, H4. That's what I say. Word. All right. So you're gonna need a validation code. We're walking you through it. This way, you guys know what's up. All right? Yeah. Take some time, though. Take some time. Any other questions? Any other ideas? You guys gonna go tell your friends? You definitely should. So it's. Go ahead.
You kind of mentioned if you have a mentor in mind and if you need more team members, what if we wanted we're kind of familiar with the nature, the business side of our venture, but need a mentor who isn't maybe an expert in that side, but in the impact side?
Yeah.
Can we write something on the 3-page
Like,
write-up?
this is where we need the most help. Could you guys hint? This is. I think we can work with that.
Yeah, or maybe email us at impactventurechallenge@gmail and just say, hey, by the way, if we make it to round 2, this would be the profile of the mentor we would find helpful.
So talking about telling your friends, it's all current students in Messiah College, and then it's all alumni from 5 years out, so 2010 and later. So tell all your friends. Tell them all. Tell them that anyone can be an entrepreneur. Because it's true. Anyone here can be an entrepreneur. I didn't think I was going to have anything to do with entrepreneurship, like even 6 months ago. Then I went to Praxis and changed my life. And now we're here. We're doing this. Hit submit. So you get your code. It's in an email. And it's you've been invited to be test tech. Yeah, so that was my test email. So I signed up, I registered, and I made test tech. So a test company, right? And I sent an email to Curtis, and he's going to accept that. This is what the other members of your team are going to see. And so then you're going to go to entry to the team member, isn't it? Manage. Okay. You'll be able to go here and do your submit. Usually, I should have signed in, I guess, but
Yeah.
that's all right. See, there's business ideas. Can you do new ideas? Register a new business concept. So you'll go here to business ideas, you register your new business concept, you'll go through there, you'll fill it out. You'll be able, after this page, there's going to be, where's the spot to do the upload?
It would come right after this.
Yeah, so right after this, you'll have
Agree
it.
to the terms and then do
Yeah,
it.
you'll agree to the terms for iStart, and then, and how do they get the iStart, how do they get the iStart thing again?
It'll come right after they fill this out.
Okay.
I think he's gonna have to fill in everything. I think it'll be pretty straightforward for. Yeah.
So you read that. And now this is for the Impact Venture Challenge. And so you'll go through, that's all our round one eligibility and requirements and such. Does that make sense? You sign up for that, and then there you can upload your file. And that's where you're going to upload your concept definition. That's that 3-pager, and that's where we need all the information about your round one. Does that make sense?
It's 11 days, 4 hours, 21 minutes, 53 seconds until the deadline. You guys
11 days to write 3 pages. That's plenty of time. Plenty of time.
Both links for the judging criteria and the concept overview template, which is what was in the slideshow, are right here.
One of the best things we can ask you guys to do is to, like, I don't know if this will be super effective or not, but we're hoping it would be. So go to Facebook and like our page and then share it. And tell your friends about it in the Messiah College, communities. Because the more competitors we can get, the better. It's better for us, it's better for you guys. The more ideas swirling around, the more people that come to these workshops, this is going to be a more holistic and more fun experience. Go ahead.
Is there a way to access information, like even just basic information about other people involved or statistics about how many people are involved in this particular challenge on the website? Or can you only access your team stuff?
I believe that you'll only be able to access your team. We don't know yet. Maybe when you register for this competition, perhaps it shows you how many teams have submitted. I don't know that offhand. Until we go live, which we did today, I won't really know. It would be great for you guys to start registering and letting us know at iStart that you're going to enter the competition. You don't have to submit. We won't look at anything though the deadline is passed. So, but at least you can start creating your accounts and all, and that would probably be helpful to everybody.
And as you're telling people to come out to these workshops, to sign up, you can also go to our website. We'll have the PowerPoint that we just showed up there for your information. We'll have a video of this entire event. We'll have the document with the overview of what you need for submission for the first round. So just direct them to our website and email us if you have any questions.
Thanks for coming out, guys.
Thank you, guys.